Good morning, 6th grade. Let us begin today's lesson with a prayer. En nombre del Padre, del Hijo, del Espíritu Santo. Amén. Padre nuestro, que estás en el cielo, santificado sea tu nombre. Venga a nosotros tu reino. Hágase tu voluntad en la tierra como en el cielo. Danos hoy nuestro pan de cada día. Perdona nuestras ofensas, como también nosotros perdonamos a los que nos ofenden. No nos dejes caer en la tentación y líbranos del mal. Amén. En nombre del Padre, del Hijo, del Espíritu Santo. Amen. This week we're going to, on the first half, be reviewing equations. So your first assignment is going to be problems 1 through 12, and it's going to be a review of our equations. So that's what I want to do. Just do a real quick review of what we've done, so that way you see it. All right, so let me just give you a few examples of the problems you'll be solving in your first assignment for Monday and Tuesday. So let's say we have a problem such as 4/5, let's say x minus 5 equals 0, something like that. All right, well, our first attempt here is to isolate this portion of the variable, all right, with the coefficient and the variable. So what I'm going to do here is going to move this 5 over, so I'm going to add 5 to both sides. This cancels. We'll bring down what's left, so it's 4/5. You can do 4/5 x. This sometimes the x is just connected, but you can do that. Separate there. There's 5. Now in this case, remember, we want to eliminate the 4/5, and we eliminate it by multiplying by its reciprocal, 5/4, both sides, 5/4. Remember, this gives you an issue, just put it over 1. Simplify, cross simplify, these all simplify to 1. So therefore, x is going to equal, we can't cross simplify here, so we simply multiply 25/4. And that's our answer. You can leave it as an improper fraction, remember. But it has to be simplified, and this is already simplified. Okay? Another one I'm going to give you an example is something like this. All right? Now we have a regular binomial, as it's called, and then we have a fractional binomial. So therefore, here, let's eliminate this. Remember how we eliminated by multiplying by 3? So that means I'm going to multiply everything by 3. Now be very careful with this one, because this means that I'm going to take, this is what it means, 3 times the 5 plus the 3x is equal to, and then we'll get to this portion. So let's go ahead and distribute. 3 times 5 is 15 plus the 9x equals. Now, if I multiply this side by 3 over 1, what happens to these two 3's? They simplify to 1. I'm only left with the 2x plus 4. So what did I do? I eliminated this fraction by multiplying by its common denominator. This is like multiplying by 3 over 1. So this is going to be 3 times this binomial, it's called. So we have to use the distributive property. You're going to see that, so be very careful. Now, select which one is the less of the two coefficients, the 2x. So I'm going to move that 2x over by subtracting. That'll leave me 15 plus 7x equals, these cancel, 4. I move the x's to the left. I'm going to move the numbers to the right by subtracting 15. Notice how we keep the balance. If I move something over to the left, I have to move something over to the right. Therefore, cancel. This becomes 7x is equal to, and in this case, we have, 8. We're going to have a negative 11, all right? Negative 11, sorry. All right, and now, in order to solve here, what are we going to do? We're going to divide by the coefficient. Gives us x is equal to negative 11 over 7. And that's our final answer, okay? Let's see. We'll do one more. So if I have 2/3 x minus 15 is equal to 4x plus 20, something of that nature. Okay. Couple things you could do here in order to do this. The same procedures we did over here. I want to eliminate this. All all right? So there's a couple of ways of doing it. We can go ahead and multiply everything by 3 to eliminate this fraction instead of working with it. All right? So that's one way. So let me show you what we're going to do. We're going to multiply everything by 3. So now this cross simplifies here. This becomes 2x minus 3 times 15 is 45 is equal to, now this is the same as 3 times that 4x plus 20. All right, just like we did over here on this side, 3 times this binomial is a binomial. We're going to multiply the 3. So that's going to give us 12x plus 60. Okay, so now it becomes just a problem with two-step equation. So what we're going to do, lesser of the 2 here, I'm going to move the 2x over. Negative 45 is equal to, in this case, 10x plus 60. I move the x's to the right. I'm going to move the numbers to the left by subtracting 60. So I have 10x is equal to, in this case, negative 105. Then I'm going to divide by the coefficient, which is 10. X is equal to a negative 105 over 10. Now, remember I said you can leave it as an improper fraction, but it must be simplified. So if we want to, let's go ahead and divide by 5. All right? I'm going to bring it up here so you can see it. X is equal to, if we do have a negative up here, divide by 5, we're going to get 21. Over, divide by 5, we're going to get 2. So our answer is negative 21 over 2. Now, let me show you this one more way and see which one makes it easier for you. So take the same problem, 2/3 x minus 15 is equal to 4x plus 20. Now let's say you did not eliminate that fraction and go, okay, you know what? I'm going to move this 15 over. That's fine. You can move the 15 over by doing its opposite. Very good. So you have 2/3 x is equal to, well, we have the 4x plus 35. Now, we can go ahead and multiply by its reciprocal, or just, I would say in this case, because we have a binomial, let's just multiply by the 3 that we did over there to get rid of the fraction, both sides. So now we're going to multiply. This will simplify as 3 over 1, simplify to 1, so that we're left with 2x is equal to, and the same thing is going to happen here. We're going to multiply the 3 times the 4x, so it's going to be 4x plus 35 times the 3, so we're going to distribute. So we're going to get 12x plus 15 is 1, 9 and 10, 105. Now, since the x's are over here, let me move this over. So that means I'm going to have to work with the negative. All right, just to let you know. So here we get negative 10x is equal to 105. Now, look over here what we have. Just the opposite. We have negative 105, positive 10x. Here we have negative. So it works out the same. So we're going to divide by negative 10. We're going to get x is equal to a negative. Remember, bring your negative to the numerator, 105 over 10, which now, when we simplify, is going to be a negative 21 over 2. So you have 2 ways of looking at this. Whatever way works for you, you go ahead and do that, all right? So for Monday and Tuesday, your worksheet is going to be numbers 1 through 12. Now, we're going to move on into another chapter after we do this for your Wednesday and Thursday assignment. We're going to start slow on this. We've done a little bit of this already, and I'm just going to carry through and give you the lesson on it. It's called polynomials. All right? So we're going to now enter the chapter on polynomials. Add, subtract, multiply, and divide as far as we can get with our lessons. Today we're going to begin to add them, the polynomials. Now, we've already been doing it when we solved equations. You've had the 2x plus 3x, it gives you 5x. And that's basically what we're doing. So, if we have we're going to be adding the polynomials. We're going to have 3 types of polynomials. We're going to have a monomial, or we can have a binomial. You've heard me say that. We had a binomial. Or we have a trinomial. All right? A monomial, 1 term. 2x. X squared. X, Y, Z. You may see 3 terms there. Do you have a trinomial? No. It's considered 1 term because there are no pluses or minuses. A binomial has a plus or minus, like x plus 4. You have the 4x plus 25, whatever it was there. Now there's a sign there, and that's going to be a binomial. Or you could have 3x squared minus 8. That's a binomial, two terms. Trinomial obviously has 3. You have x squared plus the 2x plus 1. You can have x to the third plus 5x minus 8. Those are trinomials. We're going to be dealing with a lot of the binomials and the monomials today, some trinomials. All right? But here's a category on what we're going to be working with. So when you hear me say a binomial, monomial, trinomial, now you know what the terminology is. So let's begin to add. Not difficult because you've done this before. This will be an easy lesson. So we're going to add our polynomials. All right, well, 3x plus 2x class. 5x, very good. We add the coefficients and bring the x over. We don't square, we don't do anything. The same thing is going to happen if we have a problem like this. 3x to the fourth plus 7x to the fourth. As long as you have the same variable raised to the same power, then you can add the coefficients. 7 plus 3 is 10. But you do not add, repeat, you do not add the exponents. We bring the base variable of x and it stays to the fourth. We do not make that to the eighth. So please make sure you see that. All right, let's try another one. It's going to be a binomial, but a little bit different. Now, my question to you is, are these exactly the same? And you might say, no, Mr. R, they're not, because this is xy, this is yx. Order doesn't matter. Order does not matter. You can keep, these are exactly the same. It's just that they're transposed. Variables, same. Exponents to the first power, the same. So you can add them together, you get 9xy. I like to put it in alpha order. So these are considered the same, even though they're not in the right order. All right? So what if we had all right? So you have to look and say, do I have the same variables raised to the same power? X squared, y, y. Yes, I do. I can add them. Numbers of the opposite sign, I'm going to take their difference. All right? So you know that the difference here is going to be 5. 13, the absolute value of 13 is greater, it's going to be positive 5. Then we just bring down our exponent, x squared, y. All right? Any questions on that? I don't think we should really have too many questions on that. We can have a series of them. Let's say we had something like this. Okay, now we have 2 variables. So, you got to look. Where do we have our common variables? Well, we have a 3x here and an 8x here. I can add those two together. 3x plus 8x, 11x. Okay. Now, I can't add that y with the 11x, so it's going to be a separate term. I'm going to make a binomial. So now I have a negative 4y and a negative 12y. Numbers are the same sign, add them together. So we're going to get 16. Sign is going to be negative, and variable is y. So our answer here is 11x minus 16y. Notice we've gotten like a monomial here, and a monomial here, and a monomial here. This is a binomial because we have several variables. But we can still combine them, add them together. We just can't put the 11x and the 16y together. All right? So you got to be careful with that. Watch carefully, you'll have some of those. On your homework, you're going to have some problems that look like this, for example. Let's see. 2x they're going to say add them together. No problem. Now it's different, a little different than what we had over there. All right? So now we just add. Positive 8, negative 9 is going to give me a negative 1. And 2x plus 4x is going to give me 6x. So my answer is 6x minus 1. Sometimes this is going to be written, I'm going to write it over here so you can see it. Sometimes it's written horizontally. All right? This is vertically. Sometimes it's written like this. 2x plus 8 plus 4x minus 9. All right? And that's perfect. As long as we have nothing in front of the parentheses or a plus sign, I can drop those parentheses and really write my problem like this. And say, okay, what are my common terms? 2x, 4x. That's going to be 6x. Positive 8, negative 9, negative 1. Same answer. So this is written horizontally, and this is written vertically. All right? Some of your homeworks are going to be written in the vertical method, all right? So just understand that, all right? Let's see. I think that's about it for today for these polynomials. I don't want to go into it too much. I want to give you just a little bit of work on this so you understand what you're doing. I'm trying to get another example here. We're good with that. So that would be it. So your first assignment is going to be the 12 problems on equations, and your second assignment is going to be these polynomials. Take your time on them. Next week, we're going to continue addition and then subtraction. Subtraction requires a little bit more. So I want to take it easy, and we'll get it again next year in 7th grade. So, all right? All right, have a great day. Enjoy your week.